Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. It's the start of another week. I'm so excited. I am back home, back in my happy place. Lots of happy places for me, but this is definitely one of them. And just happy to be with you. So, welcome to the start of a new week. And today we're going to talk about affirmations. I'm really excited. Hey, Lisa. Good morning with your sunshine. Thanks for adding some. Yes, I'm back. And I'm getting ready to go again because it's summer. You know how that is. If you know anything about me, you know my summers are all about traveling and having fun and getting downloads and recharging and all the good things that we should all do for ourselves. And I certainly hope that you're all doing for your wonderful selves. So, good morning. Hey, Lisette, Jackie, Margot. As you guys know, in our money family, we love on each other to start the week. So if you're joining us, I'm just going to ask you, go ahead and say good morning. Sarah Ross, oh my gosh, you are blowing my mind. Oh my gosh. I woke up in the middle of earlier this morning with you on my mind and thinking, I haven't seen Sarah on our Monday morning lives in a while. And here you are. I manifested you, just so you know. I manifested you to be here. Oh, I love it. All right, guys, let's go. Hey, Julia from not Germany. Julia, it's I don't like that it's not coming to me, but you're here from Europe. How about that? I'll just go general. Good morning to all of you from all over the world. Go ahead and love each other. Just love on each other because that's how we roll here in the money family. That's just our thing. Put love everywhere. Yes, Sarah, I am pretty powerful. All right, so this morning we're talking about affirmations, and I just want to jump into it. I want you to be ready to type because, as you know, that lets me know that you got it. So I'm going to give you 7 things to consider when creating an affirmation. I don't think that I need to convince you about affirmations, but just in case, I need to remind you of how powerful they are. You know, some of my favorite books and quotes, I talk a lot about the 4 agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. If you've never read that book, please buy it today and make sure you read it. The 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And agreement number 1 is be impeccable with your word, because your word has the power to create heaven on earth or hell on earth, is the way that he languages it. And I've proven this so many times in my life that, I mean, at this point, truthfully, if you watch me sometimes, if you watch videos, you can probably see where I'm like slowing down because my brain is wanting to say something. And I've practiced and become so masterful at this that I will not allow myself to put the words out there. I just won't, because I understand how powerful my words are. And so that's the 4 agreements, and one of them is be impeccable with your words. The other source that I absolutely love is the Bible. And those of you that got my email, you see where I quoted Proverbs, and it says, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And I want to focus on the life part, right? But that's what we're going to focus on today with the affirmations and sharing how powerful affirmations are and how we get to use that gift that we've been given. We have the gift of using our words to create life or death. But how do you do that? How do you have a formula, a way to use your words, not loosely, but powerfully? And those are affirmations. I want you to understand as well that as much as you can use your words to create life, you can also use it to create death. And not, like the literal death, causing yourself to die, even though that is absolutely true. I am unfortunately have seen people who speak things over their lives and then it manifests, So even I'm not talking about literal death, I'm talking about the death of your dreams, the death of your desires, the death of what you were here, your purpose, what you were here to live and experience. Like, absolutely not allowing that to live or to thrive and to end because of the things that get said about those areas of your life. So I don't want to get to much on that side, but I just want to start the conversation by getting you to understand how powerful you are and how powerful you are with your language and your words. So if you live in my house, you'll hear me say lots and lots of affirmations constantly. In fact, my son and my son, who now lives with me full time, my daughter is off to college, so she's home for a little while, but my son, will get in a car and say, I know, I know, I know, and he'll just spout off an affirmation. My daughter, who's been gone to college for 3 years now and probably has been a really intense 3 years of her life, I've used affirmations to guide her as a parent constantly. And she'll call me with the most, for her, just the most intense thing that's happening that seems like the end of the world. And it will just be, well, here's an affirmation for that. And so now one of the joys of my life is getting to see my kids using affirmations, right? Teaching them how to use their words to create. I've used affirmations to create my desires. I've used affirmations to change my life. I've used affirmations to bless other people, to heal other people. That's the power that we all have. And I want today, in today's conversation, I love it. You guys are all writing, I am powerful. I want in today's conversation for us to just get these 7 pieces of creating an affirmation down, so that the next time you go to create one for whatever area of your life that it is. By the way, I have a ton of affirmations because I have lots of different areas of my life that I want to speak over. I want to use my words to create something. One more thing before I go on to the 7 steps. So, you know how we say a lot that a belief is just a thought that we have thought. It's just something. A belief is something that we have thought over and over and over again until it became true. So when you believe something, you've just had a thought that you repeated in your mind over and over and over again until that thought became so true to you and so true for you that you started to live the belief, whatever it is that you believe. And we talk about limiting beliefs and how we see our limiting beliefs living out in our lives, right? But it's just something that we thought, and we thought it over and over and over again, and then it became true for us. Whether it's really true or not, it became true, and we believe it to be true. Well, an affirmation is something you say over and over and over again, and it becomes true. I want you to write that. An affirmation is something I say over and over again, and it becomes true. What is our guarantee that it will become true? Well, let's go back to the most powerful manual for life on the planet, the Bible. It says, life is in the power of the tongue. Life, creation, to create anything that you desire is in the power of the tongue. To speak it affirms that it is true for you. That's the guarantee that you have. That is kind of like, here are some of the rules of life. Here's how this game's going to go. Here's how this is going to work out for you. We have the instructions. We all know how it works. We probably don't believe it. Maybe we don't understand it or we don't practice it. But the truth is, you have the power just by speaking to create an outcome in your life, right? So yes, I love it. And affirmations are something that I say over and over again, and it becomes true. Like, breathe, take that in, because that is your truth. So the number one step to creating an affirmation, I want you to think of any area of your life. Usually on these calls or on these lives, we talk a lot about money. I want you to just think of an area of your life that you're trying to either create something new, create a change, a transformation for yourself, whatever it might be. And the number one thing is to be specific, to be very clear. What is it that I want to become true in this area of my life? So I'm going to give you an example that makes it very real. For me, when I started out on my journey and I was just buried in fear around money, I started to affirm different things. And over time, I realized I really needed to be specific, because at first I would affirm, I'm so grateful money comes easily to me. and it started coming easily. And I was like, wait a second, it's coming easy. Like I'm not having to stress and hustle and grind to create money, but it's not consistent. And so then I was like, I realized I need to be more specific. So money comes easily and consistently for me. And that started happening, started coming easily without grind and effort. And then it started coming consistently, right? But then the other part was it would be easy and consistent, but not in large amounts. And so I realized, oh, I have to be that level of specific. So I'm so grateful that money flows to me easily, consistently, and in large amounts. That affirmation is on every computer I own, my phone. It is so embedded in my consciousness. I have said that thousands of times in my lifetime. And by the way, I just started doing this maybe a few years ago. Saying that affirmation has created that truth in my life in ways that I cannot explain to you. I cannot give you the logical explanation of how it has worked. I can just tell you that it has. But what I realized looking back at creating that affirmation was how specific I needed to be. So I want you to think of whether it's your finances, your health, a relationship, what is it? And step number one is to realize you're going to have to be very specific about what it is that you want to make true. Remember, whatever you are about to affirm, this is something that you're going to make true for you. So just sit down and, I realize when people say affirmations, they're so general, and that's great because you're going to say thousands of affirmations. But when you're really wanting to work on an area of your life, I want to encourage you to sit and look at that area and go, what do I want to be true? In this area, what do I want to be true? I love all of the affirmations that are getting typed, and it guys looks like you guys are you're taking mine, and I love that. Run with it, but think about it some more for yourself and see if that's really true for you. I think it's pretty great, but sit with it and see if it works for you. Number two, use strong feeling language. You guys, I'm sure you've all experienced this for yourself and just watching other people. Our intellect is so profound that we can come up with some mighty words, big, wonderful, like you would impress Webster's dictionary with the words you come up with when you create an affirmation. The problem is your heart doesn't believe it. Your heart doesn't buy in. Your heart doesn't connect. And your heart is more powerful than your brain. Your heart is more powerful, more attracting, more magnetic. To feel it is more powerful than to think it. So when you create an affirmation, you want to really use words that are full of feeling for you. You want to, not just think of the words that emit feelings, but when you actually speak these affirmations, it has to be filled with so much feeling for you that you say it with power, right? So number two, if you're writing, I want you guys to write it. Yes, thanks, Amawami. Use strong feeling language. For me, I personally believe that some of the most powerful affirmations, I would almost say, if you're going to create an affirmation, one that's really powerful, it should begin with the words, I am grateful. I am. If I've done another live about the power of I am, I would strongly encourage you to go find it and watch it. I think it was called 2 Powerful Words. If you do a search on my Facebook feed, you should be able to find it. But the power of the words I am, if you understood it, research it, do whatever you need to do to get how powerful those 2 words are. Anything that you say after I am becomes true. That's why we should never say I'm hungry. That's an affirmation. That is something that you are speaking to be true. Diane helps me with this one a lot. I am tired. Try not to say that. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Try not to say that ever again, right? Because I don't want I am tired to be the truth of my life, So I'll say I need to be refueled. I need to refuel. That's what I'll tell Diana. Oh, how are you doing? I need to refuel. right? But not I am, because those two words are really powerful. So for me, that emits a lot of feeling. I understand that when I say I am imitating God. That is really powerful for me because I understand what that means. And then when you put grateful, in the Science of Getting Rich, it says, when you are grateful for something, it connects you to the source from which every good thing comes. So you combine I am, which anything that comes after that is going to be true. You are literally declaring a truth over your life, and you add gratitude. And to me, that is just like crazy emotion, right? So I am grateful, and then you describe whatever it is that you are affirming to be true. This is my truth. Whatever you say after I am grateful, you are writing something or you're speaking something that now becomes your truth. I love that, you guys. Thank you, Denise. Never abbreviate I am to I'm. You know how we do that. I'm going to put this up here because that's really good. Never abbreviate I am to I'm. You literally take its power away. Reach for what you can believe. So many times we're saying affirmations that we don't believe. So here you are using this superpower that you have, speaking something into existence that you don't believe. And then it feels like it's not working, but it's because you don't believe it, right? So reach for something that you can believe. I hear people saying, I am a millionaire. I'm a millionaire, like affirming this to the nth degree and not believing it. What I would say, if you are not seeing evidence of this, if you've been affirming it and you're not seeing evidence, what I would affirm is, I don't know how. I don't know the how, but I am so grateful I am a millionaire. Because for me, that would help me with the part where I recognize that I'm struggling to believe it, but I don't need to believe it. I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to happen. And I'm totally okay with that. So I would start that affirmation with, I don't know how, but I am so grateful. I am a millionaire. See how I do that to address the lack of belief. But the real message here is, if you're going to affirm something, I would rather, kind of like I started with, I am so grateful money comes easily to me. At that time, that's all I could believe. I couldn't believe large amounts, but I could believe money comes easily to me because I find pennies, I get checks in the mail, refund checks, I get whatever, money just can come easily. And I could believe that. At the time, I couldn't go for in large amounts, easily and in large amounts. I eventually got there, but I started with what I could believe. Right? So that's a very important part in making an affirmation. If you're not believing it and not seeing your affirmation work, then that's why. So in creating a powerful affirmation, you want to reach for something that you can believe. Another important part of creating an affirmation is you have to repeat it often. That's kind of what makes it work. You can't write it down today and say it once and then it's done. It's like my daughter. Every single time she calls with something going on in her life, it's the same affirmation. Remember, honey, I'm so grateful. Everything always works out for me. And then she'll call me. The best part is when she calls me after the thing has worked out, and she's like, Mom, Jesus is real. And she's so happy and so excited. And I'm like, yeah, yep. And why is that, Natasha? And she goes, because everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for all of us. The reason why that's become true for her, and she's still like the rest of us, a human being going through things, but I just know that all life is doing is showing her that this affirmation is a truth. And for whatever reason, she needs a couple more examples until she owns this, and so be it. But she's getting it, And so the way that it becomes true is when you say it over and over and over again. You have to repeat it often. It's not you say it one time and it becomes true. You have to create, think about it. Nobody can argue with you that your name is your name because you've said it so many times in your lifetime. You've written it, you've told other people, you've filled out documents with it. Like you have just demonstrated through repeated patterns that your name is your name. It's the same thing with an affirmation. For something to be true, you have to speak it over and over and over again, and it creates a new neural pathway in your brain. This is all science, right? So what you're saying is, all my life I've lived with this thought pattern. I don't like the results of it. I want to create a new thought pattern. You're going to have to do something different, say something different. You're going to have to give your brain new programming, new information. And if you've lived, think about it, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years with one thought pattern, and you want to change it, you're not going to say it one time and then all that is going to go away. You have to disrupt it, right? So you have to say it over and over and over and over and over again. But I promise you, as my name is Tasha, that is so powerful. Back to what it says, Don Miguel Ruiz, right? Be impeccable with your words, because your words have the power to create heaven on earth. So that's number 4. Let's see, I got to rush here. 8:21. All right. Release any beliefs that are contrary to this new affirmation. This is probably the most challenging part of creating an affirmation, is that you're saying an affirmation, but you might have some beliefs that are contrary to it. And what do you do with that? Because now they're battling each other. So for me, and I would advise all of you to do this, the reason I created the affirmation is I want a new result in my life. And I'm going to have to let go of the one that's no longer serving me. So every time I affirm, every single repeated speaking out of the affirmation reduces and minimizes the old one until eventually it's just gone. But sometimes as you're going through your day or your week or your life, something, that belief has been there for so long that it will pop up and challenge you and make you go, oh yeah, so you're just saying this affirmation, but is it really going to be true? And in that moment, you are going to have to stand for, you know what? I am choosing. Your choice is the most powerful thing you have. Free will. I'm choosing to let this go. I'm choosing to let this belief go. I no longer believe that. And I think that that's probably the most challenging thing, because when you've thought something for so long and you want to change your thought pattern, and you're trying to do all the right things, and then here comes the thought again, sometimes what happens is we get trapped and we go backwards, right? Because we've lived that thought for so long, we go right back into it. But in that moment, I want to inspire you, when you see it happening, to literally say out loud, I no longer believe that. I no longer believe that. I am now choosing to believe. I am so happy and grateful. Everything always works out for me. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. Doesn't matter how I used to be. Doesn't matter what I've done. None of it matters. All I know is everything always works out for me. And you say your affirmation again. Right? Cynthia, I love that. I'm choosing to let this belief go. I am choosing to let this belief go. I really love that. That's really powerful. All right, 2 more things in creating an affirmation. And this is actually what gives you confidence that it will work. So the actual pieces of creating the affirmation I've shared with you, but what gives me the confidence that this thing that I'm saying over and over and over again is actually going to create a new result in my life? What makes me believe that with everything in my being? I spend time connecting to the truth. I read, I study, I meditate, I listen to things that will renew my mind. I am just constantly infiltrating my mind, my awareness. I find everything that I can get my hands on to refuel my mind to support this new belief. So the minute I create an affirmation, you best believe, here comes YouTube, here comes a book, here comes a event, all around me, I start getting things just being magnetized to me to support this new affirmation. But then I really have to spend the time reading, listening to the things, meditating, being quiet and still. And all of those things it makes me so confident. The renewing of your mind is so powerful. That piece right there helps you with letting go of the old belief as well. right? So spend time studying, meditating, reading, whatever it is, things that you know, information, knowledge, wisdom that you know will help you to be strong in believing this new affirmation. And the last one is live the truth of the affirmation. So whatever it is that you decided at the very beginning, this is what I want to affirm to create a change in my life around. Do something to live it. So for me, I remember one of my affirmations was around freedom. I'm so grateful I have the kind of lifestyle that I desire. And I kept affirming and affirming that. And then one day it hit me, well, okay, how are you living that right now? How are you demonstrating that, you know, you really can have this life? How are you demonstrating your faith? And I started planning trips. And you know my story. My first trip was not 8 weeks to Europe. It was 2 days to Georgia, the next state away. And I rented a car and I stayed 40 miles away from the town I wanted to visit, Savannah, because I couldn't afford to stay in Savannah. But I could afford to stay 40 miles away. And then I drove into Savannah 2 nights and I got to have my Savannah experience and drive back home. That's all I could afford at that time. But I was affirming, I'm so grateful that I have this quality lifestyle that I desire, but not taking any action, right? To live it. So you want to look for opportunities to live your affirmation. And they can be small. It's not about how big the action is, it's the intention behind it. That little trip to Georgia was my act of faith. It was, I think, a Memorial Day weekend that I went. And I look back at that time and I'm like, what? Who would have ever guessed that that little act of faith would lead to all the trips that I've taken since then, which have been amazing, right? So I got to live out the affirmation, but I needed to take an act of faith at the time. All right, hang on a second. Let me see where you guys are. So those are the 7 things. I want to make sure that you guys are getting that. So the very last one, I want all of you to type this to make sure that you got it. All right, live the affirmation. What does that mean? Find a way to take some inspired action that demonstrates your faith to show that you are believing this. Live, yep, April, you got it. But I want you to actually write, live the affirmation, because so many times I see people saying things, they are affirming a lot, talking a lot, talking. And that's really powerful in starting the wheels in motion. But if you want this to happen fast for you, if you want that affirmation to become real with speed, then apply an act of faith. Go live some portion of it, right? So live the affirmation. Awesome. I love that you guys are so great with your typing. Live the affirmation. So think about that right now. Like, what have I been affirming for a long time, but I haven't been taking any action? I haven't really been living it, right? Live the affirmation. Hey, Catherine, good morning. I love it. I'm going to leave you guys with that because that's the most important part. Sandra says, live like a millionaire, right? Oh, Sandra, it went by so fast. Where did it go? I want to put it up on here, but it went by really fast. But live like a millionaire. Here we go, Sandra. Live like a millionaire. So if you've been affirming, I'm so grateful that I am a millionaire, what I want you to realize is in taking an inspired action to live like a millionaire doesn't even have to cost you a dime. Last week I was in California and all I did, everywhere I drove, I look up on Zillow, all the prices. I got the address and the street and I just looked up the houses and I was like, wow, look at that. $16 million. That's it. Oh my gosh, $4 million for this house. What would the mortgage be? $16,000 a month. Oh, some of them, the mortgage was $145,000 a month. That's when I realized I was not dreaming big because I have never thought about $145,000 a month mortgage, right? But see, that didn't cost me anything to just go drive around these multi-millionaire homes, look at all this wealth, feel it, be a part of it. That's taking action. Live the affirmation. It doesn't have to cost you anything. But you have to take an act of faith. You have to be doing something to make it real. Or else we're just, we're talking, which is powerful, but I'm going to tell you sometimes to amplify your belief, you need to get out there and do something about it. All right, great. So next week, we are going to go back to creating our fun summer manifested list. Remember, we did this at Christmas. We made a list. I'm going to give you 5 things next week. 5 things, fun things that we want to manifest this summer. So come be here with me next Monday morning at 8 a.m. I'll be in Jamaica. And so that will be fun. And so come join me in Jamaica and we'll do our manifested list for the summer because, it's time for travel and fun. So let's go ahead and manifest some fun experiences. And so be here with me next Monday morning at 8. Go ahead and type the word reminder. That really just helps us get back here easily. So type the word reminder in the comments and then check your Facebook Messenger. Please remember this step. Type the word reminder and check Messenger for a message from me. You click the little button to say, yes, I want to be reminded next Monday morning. And it will give you a quick reminder 15 minutes before I go live with the exact link to watch the video. All right, so type the word reminder in the comments. Check your Facebook Messenger. You're going to get a private message from me with a link to get your reminder for next week. I'll see you here next Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Go write a powerful affirmation and really sit with, how can I live this affirmation? What would be a powerful act of faith that I can take today? And remember, it doesn't have to cost you anything. Mwah. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. Bye, everyone. See you again next Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Have a great day.